Earlier, we talked about Steve Poizner. How about a couple of minutes now on the woman he's chasing, Meg Whitman? Her seemingly insurmountable lead has dwindled, and now Poizner back in the game. Joining us is veteran reporter and investigative journalist Charles Feldman. Charles, how are you?
How are you, Fred?
Good, thank you. Okay, let's get to it. You wrote about it on the Huffington Post. Is Meg Whitman melting?
It kind of seems like it, doesn't it? A little bit like the that scene in The Wizard of Oz when they toss the water on the Wicked Witch and she melts in the corner. You know, about 2 months ago, Meg Whitman had about a 50-point lead over Steve Poizner. It has now dwindled to a lead that's only in the single digits. So she clearly is not doing something right, and Poizner clearly is.
I know, and it's well chronicled. She spent a ton of money on advertising. But I'm wondering now, and, you know, it's easy to armchair quarterback, have her ads actually hurt her?
Well, you know, the interesting thing is that when you are one of the first people out of the gate, as she was with these commercials, the advantage she had was that she was first, and the disadvantage she had is that she was first. It gave people a lot of time, her opponents and also the public, to listen to what her positions were, to analyze what she was really talking about. And I think that what's starting to happen is that, combined with the fact that now Poizner, of course, is really in high gear as we get closer to primary day on the 8th, what we're starting to see is the voters are starting to actually get engaged in the process.
Early on, and I'm sure you remember this, the Whitman camp suggested, and Poizner was very upset, said he'd been threatened, that if Poizner didn't pull out, they were going to put him through the wood chipper if he decided to stay in the race. Do you think back then they knew something that most people didn't know?
No, I think that what ended up happening is that they were talking about putting him in the wood chipper, and it ended up that the Whitman has gotten the splinters on her rear instead. You know, look, what's happening now is not unexpected. You're going to always have a tightening up of the race as you get closer to the actual election. But she's had some very controversial opinions, as has he. And the voters, as I said earlier, are starting to take a closer look. And look, you know, she has based her entire campaign to a large degree on the premise that you can run the state of California as if it were a business. I dare her to mention a single state that has ever been run like a business. Not possible.
Well, we'll find out if she knows her business coming up very soon. Charles, always a pleasure. Thanks for the insight. Appreciate it.
Have a good night there.
You too.